and then another thing that he does is he omits certain things and then he embellishes certain things. So with him, there's a lot of fucking editing going on. It's like when you're editing, like turn up the volume here, subtract from here, move this to here. Like that's what he does with reality. Like that's what he does with the story, right? So when I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, there's a lot of elements of this explanation that are true, but you're telling this shit out of order.
Yeah.
And then you're like interjecting this competition thing to make it seem like you're some type of stand-up dude and you're on your masculinity, because that's one of the best qualities of masculinity is being competitive. But there also is a gentlemanly way to be competitive. There's a respectful way to be competitive. And I'm like, you threw that word in there, bitch. That was nowhere in the situation. Because at the time frame that you were saying those things about Kevin Samuels, I don't know what you said after I was gone. I know what you said when I was there because my ears work well. And when I was there and those things were being said, you were in no way, shape, or form in competition with Kevin Samuels. If anything, you guys were desperately avoiding competition. So I'm like, where the fuck did that word come from? Like, that's a buyout right there. You copping out with that one, okay? So I'll tell you exactly what was the nature of that shit talking.
Okay.
What it was is that the time slot that Fresh and Fit was trying to go up was the same time slot where Kevin Samuels was going. And Kevin was making the call and saying, listen, it's a conflict of interest. We're bumping heads because some of our viewers are crossing over. No wonder, because Kevin Samuels has done a lot for your show. So no wonder some of the subs follow both of you. And he was just simply saying, you guys gotta move it up. Right? Now, Myron's response to that was, mind you, after going in the room, closing the door, and talking to Mr. Kevin Samuels very, very calm and cordially, comes out of said room every time angry, right? And expressing himself verbally, like, fuck this shit. Who the fuck does he think he is to tell us when to do our show? And I'm getting sick of this shit. I can't wait till we fucking don't need him anymore. As soon as we get enough subs, fuck him. We moving on or whatever. And the F word.
Damn.
See, this is the thing. He throws the F word around a lot. And that's one of the first things I noticed when I would be around him is there's two words he throws around a lot, and I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? He throws the faggot word around, and he throws nigga around a lot, and it's like, and then it's crazy too because like, what's the context? What's the connotation of it? Because he throws it out for the extreme negative and the extreme positive. When he's upset with somebody, he's like, "Yo, this fucking nigga." But then when he's just like, "Come on, nigga," so it's like, I don't know,
like a man out of place. It almost sounds like, right?
Right, and he does the same thing with the F word. Like they be joking around and calling each other faggot. I'm like, hold up, man, that shit ain't funny. Don't call me.
They kind of did that. There was a show where they were actually doing that live, where he was like, oh, well, we like to use this word, it's the F word, and it ends with agate. And like,
I don't think it's funny. Is all I'm saying.
No, you're absolutely on point with that.
It's a little,
but anyway,
sure, right. So he would throw that around a lot. But the only time that he would throw the faggot word around where I thought there was some seriousness in it is when he was talking about Kevin Samuels. So then it's like there's already like other people that are accusing him of that or saying that. So
that's like, right, yeah.
So I'm a little lost with it is what I'm trying to say. I'm just like, why that choice of words? And then my whole thing is, where the fuck is the integrity with this dude? Because it's like you're saying fuck this dude. I can't wait till I don't need him. And my whole thing is, why do you need him now then? Why do you need him now then? Because if I need somebody, right? Whether I like desperately need them or I need them in the sense that they will just make what I'm trying to do easier and quicker. Either way you want to use the word need, I feel like there needs to be some humble with that.
That's facts.
If you need me to buy your meal or else you won't eat, you need to be humble, right? And if like you left your wallet at home and you don't want to wait to go home and get your wallet to come back and then buy food, I mean, you're not going to starve without me, but you still need to be kind of humble because you get what I'm saying? So I just feel like, which one is it? Do you need this dude or not? Because if you do, chill, right? So what I would say to him is like, dude, just relax, just play along because right now everything's going good. Everything's going well. And to get Kevin Samuels back in studio with girls, you had him here before, but you didn't have him with girls. So that's what we're aiming for. That's what we're pushing for. And me, you know what I'm saying? I'm invested in that happening because I want to meet Kevin Samuels, not so much to collaborate with him. I want to meet him because I want mentorship. So I'm like, I can't wait to get the opportunity to meet this dude. And my way to do that is by providing the absolute perfect female lineup for him to interact with.
Like the value aspect for it.
Right. So the point that I'm trying to make is, in a different way, I'm just as invested as Myron is in keeping so-called Kevin Samuels pleased.
And let me mention something to the guys, almost 2,000 of you guys watching right now. See, guys, one thing I don't understand, the way what he's talking about right now, I see it because he basically explained the way he how he came on to working with Fresh and Fit in the first place. He didn't come up there, you know, he had nothing, but he approached them in a way that was, you humbled yourself and said, hey, I want to learn, because that's what you said in the video. Like, I just want, you know, I just want the experience. I want to be able to shake hands with the right people, things like that. So it's very shocking to just hear the two different sides of things. And that's what you people, man, when you're following these guys, I tell you, you don't know what's going on in the back end. You don't understand. You're hearing it from the guy's mouth right now. He's legit worked with them in the back. So it's nuts that this is coming out. Anna, what do you think about this whole thing?
I was just about to say, get her in that one, cuz.
What do you think?
I mean, a lot of the points he's making are points that we made. I don't even remember if we were actually live or not at that point. But
no, we weren't.
No, this is everything that we've been saying, and even just, I mean, everything. Well, I don't know, you know, obviously not saying the specifics of the situations that you're talking about because I wasn't there, but just the things that you're talking about as far as like the character and the integrity of these things. And this is stuff that I was telling him earlier that we were talking about. And even just the recollection of events and dramatizing things and taking them out of the timeline. And the problem is you have someone with a platform where people think he's a leader, but he's an influencer instead. And so everybody just, he says something and they're ready to go to bat and ready to go to war for this because his interpretation of the actual events, it's getting messed up in his mind somewhere, intentionally or not, it's getting skewed.
Well, let me say this. Like, for example, somebody like me, he's going to have a problem with because he can't control me. He can't control me. He can't control what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. He doesn't like somebody that's going to call him on his shit and be confident about it, right? And somebody like Anna, he's going to have a problem with her because she's contrary to the narrative that he's trying to sell. So it's like, for example, he's trying to act like she couldn't be valuable other than the fact that she's just like, okay, she's attractive. It's like, yeah, no, hold on.
There are too many attractive women in Miami.
No.
Guy.
So like, okay, let me give an example of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just say that your name wasn't Anna. Let's say your name was Adam and you were a dude. What you've accomplished at your age would be celebrated. You get what I'm saying? That dude would be a successful dude. He'd be a high value dude. You know, okay, so how all of a sudden is this person not this because it's a different gender? Myron doesn't like that because her existence proves him fucking wrong is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just like his own existence. So,
because I'm assuming, Anna, you would have probably held your own in some of these questionings, and exactly. And the thing with the statistics, I noticed that a lot of these guys in these red pill spaces, they kind of use that as their weapon to beat people over with, and it's like, you have that, and this is where I actually vibed with what you said, Allende, because I said this like way before when I first criticized Rollo Tomasi, right? And I was like, okay, your book has a lot of theoretical information and it makes sense for guys to kind of use it as a guide, but that's it. It shouldn't be reality. And when you mentioned it's not absolute, and when you mentioned, hey, you know, you were married, you've obviously had experience with women, I felt that because I'm like, I would never say, or even if like the way the show was structured, how they kick people out, I still wouldn't like just the harshness and the anger. I just can't find it in me because it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. So when you said, hey, these guys don't have the experience because clearly it shows in the way that they deal with the women, I vibe with that. What do you go ahead if you had anything to add to that?
Well, I just feel like he is such a control freak that he wants to control the end of the movie. And it's like, if you're bringing women on, or if I'm bringing women on, the goal is to learn something, right? It's to investigate, question, have healthy dialogue, learn something about them, they learn something about us. How can that take place when you want to already dictate the end of the movie? So anytime somebody says something that he thinks is off script, it's like you jumping down their throat. It's like, hold on. Let her be a fucking unicorn. If she's a unicorn, let her be a unicorn.
And that's the thing you want the guys to see, right?
That's my point. So it's like, I'm more interested in bringing on the exception to the rule. He wants to bring on the consistent, to keep on hammering the same point. So what I'm saying is,
so that all that I'm sorry, because this is a very good point, because this is a big criticism about the show is the amount of women, right? And when you were talking about you're the one who brings the women in, now compared to when you were working there, right? And the quality of women and the kind of conversations you had, what did you notice the difference in when you were there and the kind of people you recruited versus whoever is running the operation now? And how has that affected the quality of the show?
Well, when I was there, everything that I tried to do was like stifled. It's like I was trying to pull off magic every time, and just someone was trying to break my fucking wand. So if I'm saying, hey, let's do an episode on single mothers, but here's the thing though, my goal with bringing on single mothers is I'm trying to break through all the motherfucking preconceived notions. So what you're trying to say is single moms bad, don't date single moms because they have all these negative traits and all blah blah blah. Okay, great. I'm trying to bring something that's the exception to that. I'm trying to bring single moms that are gorgeous, look great for their age, look amazing for having already had children, understand or at least are willing to have the discussion as to what types of authority said stepfather should have. If you're expecting a man to come in and take on this type of responsibility, are you willing to let him lead you as well as the children? Are you willing to let him discipline the children? Let me tell you why you would need to do that if you have this expectation. And have a fucking useful conversation. Have a healthy conversation. When I was growing up, stepfathers were like the shit. If you were a stepfather, you automatically commanded respect from the community because you stepping up. So what I'm saying is, why are we telling men to avoid this when the biggest problem we have as a species is lack of fatherhood? So if you are willing to come and fill that gap, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That should be encouraged. But hold on, because everybody's going to say, no, because this can happen, that can happen.
These fanboys,
ain't yours and all that. Okay, so time out. That means the man being willing to step up is only half of the equation. The other half of the equation is the woman understanding that he needs to come in with the same level of authority as if he was the father of those children in a time in a society where even the biological father is not given the proper authority and proper power in the house. So why can't we have that discussion that will be helpful? If we can make the women understand that, then you would stop having these single mothers demanding that men step up without giving men what should come with that responsibility. With responsibility needs to come authority. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's almost like telling one side of the story and not giving the chance for the other guys or the other women to come aboard and say, "Hey," because I've seen that's the thing when they talk about don't wife single mothers and all that stuff. Like I get it, but then in my personal experience, I'm going around seeing people who are already mothers and they have their fathers and they're working well, they're doing all this stuff. So it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't understand the reality you're trying to portray. Do you have anything to add to that, Anna?
Yeah, especially being about to be a single mother. This is something where, the Fresh and Fit podcast, they don't want to, like you're saying, they don't want to bring anyone on that doesn't fit their narrative, that doesn't go along with the image that they're trying to project. And until all of this beef with his following coming after and attacking me, I had no idea how absolutely evil people could even be towards single moms. But people don't realize there is a story that needs to be told, because just like a woman deciding to be a single mom or being a single mom is not always derogatory. It's not always it's not always bad for the kid. I can't talk about all of the specifics of my current situation because honestly, because I will say this, because the father threatened to kill me if I don't get an abortion. So, and I'm trying to get into a new place. So, I can't talk about all the specifics, but a lot more than that has transpired. And in this situation, everyone coming at me and like hating on me, saying that it's terrible, like single moms are trash. This is because this is the narrative that even this podcast has led people to believe, that single moms are trash. When in this case, like, I would give anything to have a man by my side during pregnancy, during this awful, like, challenging time. But I'm at the ER alone by myself because I don't want to put a violent man in my child's life, because I want better for my child. And I do want a good man to come in and take that leadership. But that story never gets told. And instead it's just single moms. Don't end up with single moms. Single moms are trash. There's no value. When no one's even asking like the other side of the story. And they can't just say like their side and not bring on the other, because there's so much more.
You never know what people are going through. Go ahead, Yande. Am I saying your name right, Yande? I'm sorry, I'm Nigerian, so I have an accent.
Cool.
So I have problems with. Okay.
I mean, what she was just saying, I tried to present that, and they just fucked it all up. I brought two amazing single moms on, gorgeous, and you know, I'm trying to give them an opportunity to give us where they're coming from, so that we can kind of like meet in the middle and get it. And all they did was just railroad these chicks into the same damn narrative. And I was just like, what a waste, because I put that effort in. Because you got to understand, it's one thing to just invite women on, but then you gotta create a certain level of trust. They have to be comfortable with you and all this kind of stuff.
The vibe has to be right.
Right, to get them on is work. And then with Myron, a lot of times it's extra work to get them to come on once they see who he is. Do you know how hard it is to get women to come on? And then they're like, yeah, okay.
I was going to ask.
And they send the link and they're watching. And they're like, oh, hell no, I ain't going on that. So
I got so many messages. I got so many messages from women who are like, my boyfriend trying to convince me to come on the show, but I don't know. Myron makes me a little nervous.
That's what I want to say. The vibe. So, like, what do you, when you were there, because one thing I noticed, like, because I watch body languages, I work in sales, so you kind of pick up little things. And what I noticed is, like, it's almost a level of uneasiness in there. And I said in my last video, I'm like, just watching this, man. If I was sitting in that room, almost I probably wouldn't want to be there any longer than I have to, or the tension so thick you can cut it with the butter knife.
Let me tell you something. When you get a chance to watch that episode, it's called It's called Fresh and Fit versus Single Mothers. I don't even know why the fuck they put that versus in there like it was a boxing match, right? Now,
but it goes to your previous point, though.
Right. Now, when you watch that video, he made old girl cry for no freaking reason. He made the chick cry for no reason. I'm over here like, oh, you got to be kidding me, man. I'm in this episode. So I'm like struggling to try to like edge out some good conversation. And they're just with the bullshit, with the stupid questions, with the questions that don't matter, setting chicks up to fall on their face. I'm like, come on, bro, let's get some good dialogue. I'm trying to talk about fathers being able to discipline the children. I'm trying to talk about this, and what the fuck? I'm trying to be non-biased when we're having this conversation. You having this conversation, but it's predetermined. The question is, should guys consider being stepfathers if the atmosphere is right, if the woman is right, if the child is the right age, if everything falls into place? Is it a viable option? And you're not even allowing this conversation to happen. You're just already saying nope, it's bad, and no, and it's not going to work. And it's like she's trying to get a point across, and Myron is like, stop cutting me off. And then he's like over the top with it. And it's like, nigga, do you not know anything about women? This is the way women communicate. Thank you. Talking at the same time and hear each other.
Thank you. When he's sitting there talking about your emotions or all this stuff doesn't matter, I'm like, what do you, dude? What, if you don't understand, because we're talking about emotional intelligence, it's debunked. This. I'm like, look, I don't care if it was a journalist that made it. It's understanding the motivations behind people and why they do what they do. That's important for dealing with people. If you want to be successful, you're gonna need to understand what motivates people. But if you're a fucking brick, and that's what Myron strikes me as, a goddamn brick. I don't know how you were able to be such a huge player, like you're trying to fucking play it out to be. It doesn't make any sense.
Dude, do you know how, listen, they would have never been able to get off the ground with that concept without me. Even if they took the concept and just like get rid of this nigga immediately, it would have never worked because the women wouldn't have come on.
That's a good point.
I had to really convince the women. I had to really butter them up. Even the episode where I put the two OnlyFans girls on with the thieves from the roommates, and then Kevin Samuels called on for another amazing and viral moment. Them broads got up and walked the fuck out. But if you notice, those broads came back and sat their little asses down.
I noticed that,
and they toned it down a little bit. You know why?
Okay, can I just say one thing before you say that? So, because I'm going to say what I thought the audience was. What I thought, just being an audience member, I thought it was a whole clout thing, because that's how they kind of, when they came back, I'm like, oh, so is it the clout thing? But go ahead.
So what I did was I stepped out in the hallway and I said, listen, this is what you're both going to do. You're going to take your ass back inside, sit down, and listen more than you talk. And the blonde shorty said to me, why? So I'm supposed to just go in there and I'm supposed to humble myself? I said, what's in there right now? There's a room full of men in their mid-fucking-30s who are either already extremely successful or on their way to success. And then when this guy that you don't know called in, what did we all do? We all gave him the floor. We deferred to him. You don't know who Kevin Samuels is, but we know who Kevin Samuels is. So if grown men that got their own motherfucking money is deferring to him, maybe you should get in there and humble yourself too. You're ruining a really big moment and you don't even know it. Yeah, ladies, this way. You see what I mean? So it's like
that's how you talk. That's how you do it.
Play cleanup. You got to constantly play cleanup, and it's like, and I have to hold the mop the whole damn time because Myron keep on knocking shit over, and it's unnecessary stuff. It's like, my dude. So what he lets me know, what was obvious to me about him from the beginning, is that you're empty on the inside. You haven't developed self-confidence, right? You're not secure within yourself. That's why you're always demanding respect from people, because you don't respect yourself. You're not used to
any person can smell that a mile away, man. Like I sniffed that. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure.
So if a girl interrupts you and your first instinct is that she's disrespecting me, I put this bitch in her place. It's like, why, dude? Why are you so? Hold on. Why are you so defensive? And if you're so dominant and you're so masculine, why are you so easily offended by a female?
Because high value men are common and attractive women
that's what I'm trying to say. Dude, bro, let me tell you something. As a man, majority of things that women would say to me that could be offensive, I would never take it personal. I don't take what women say personal, bro. It's just not a big deal because
you know who the hell you are. You're confident in yourself. If someone walked up to me and said, "Hey, guy, you're stupid," all right, whatever. Sure, that's your opinion, but keep it moving.
And not only that, another thing that he doesn't realize is 98% of the time, that's a shit test and you failing it, buddy. You big old F on there, buddy.
Speaking of which, Anna, I got this question for you. So when you're reading through, because the game, all right, the text game that he was messaging you right now.
Well, which was horrible. It was horrible.
If he would have said that, so if you would have said that to just be in your female mind, assuming if you said that to any random girl, you think that would have been anyone would have had a chance, like he would have had a chance with any girl with the kind of messages or even the style or the tonality behind what he sent to you? Is that something that they were like, oh shit, I guess I'd fuck him, right? No. Young men, pay attention. F&F stands, pay attention. You want to talk about? Go ahead.
That's why I posted it anonymously to my story, because I could not, I thought, okay, if he's a dating expert and he's talking to a female like this, maybe there are women that this works for. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this on my story. And it was like over 400 women saying like, I can't believe this.
Wow.
And yeah, my following, of course, they're probably gonna side with me, but they didn't know who he was. And on a side note, most of my following is female now because I don't post pictures in thongs and like ratchet fitness content. I post more like
that'll make no difference.
But
that'll make no difference.
All the
you ain't gotta post guys to be interested. Let me tell you right
now.
This is a different type of interest.
I just mean all the females were commenting, like saying they were blown away. And I don't think that's just because they're following me. I think it's because females, you don't talk to women like
that. Young men, pay attention to this. Go ahead, Ian.
Let me interject something in there real quick, okay? Because rules are designed so that everybody doesn't do something. They're not designed so that nobody does something, right? Now, I'm about to give some good/bad advice, right? I told these motherfuckers, stop fucking with the girls you bring on the podcast. Because first of all, I'm taking offense to it. Because I feel like, really, nigga, I'm doing all this damn work just for you to try to get this chick in your bed. So let me apologize to Anna, because I feel partly responsible for Myron's behavior as far as leveraging the podcast to get the women, because it's like I'm over here giving him the facade. Like, I'm over here giving him all of the content he needs to create this facade. And then it's like, there's a moment in time where I can honestly say all the chicks he was hooking up with were chicks that I would bring in on the podcast. Now, I'm not bringing them on there for that. But what he's doing is he's playing the numbers game. This is something that we used to do in the club. Like, all these chicks are here, so I got to be able to leave with at least one of them, right? So if you just got one or two girls on there, you don't even have a 50-50. It's much lower than 50-50 that you're going to bring one of them home. But if I bring 10 girls on the podcast, you can get one of them.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel partly responsible for that, because I'm facilitating the
behavior
scenario for this to take place. It's almost like I'm guilty by proxy. I don't drink. I don't give these bitches drinks like it's my idea. But then when they be like, yo, I they seek the girls and some get them some drinks. I'm like, You know,
no, we were actually just talking about that before you came on, Yende. And Anna, props to you, for being fair on that. Not because she didn't know what the idea behind it. But my theory was, all right, because obviously we're talking about bringing some quality ladies on there. Now, is the drinks used as kind of like a I wouldn't say diffusion, but to kind of get these girls a little bit off balance. Okay, so guys, this is somebody that's behind the scenes. Okay, this is not me because I'm just these all. Go ahead, let them know.
Let me tell you something. Absolutely, and I'm not condemning them for it. If anybody condemns them for that, you're a damn hypocrite. Because guys are always looking for the advantage. You meet a girl at the nightclub, the first thing you're gonna say is, "Can I get you a drink?" You go to dinner with a girl, you say, "You want another glass of wine?" So stop. I personally don't drink. And I don't encourage it, but I'm not gonna sit here and condemn guys for trying to loosen chicks up with drinks. I'm sorry. And from my personal experience, there's a lot of women that they won't loosen up without the drink. Like they want the drink. They're like, "I need a drink," and I'm like,
"That's true. That's true."
You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like I need to rely on it. I don't feel like I need that to get you a little so that my mojo, my game starts working. Nigga, my mojo and game works in the gym at 3 p.m. So I don't need you to be tipsy. Right? So what I'm saying about good advice and bad advice at the same damn time, if I was in Myron's position with Anna, the way I would have played it is, number one, you shouldn't be trying to hook up with the girls from the show anyway, but
don't shit where you eat.
Right. But hold on, let me tell you why she's a little bit different now. Okay, number one, she has an equal amount to lose. She's a businesswoman, she got her own little thing going on, she's an entrepreneur. Okay. Then the next thing is you got to get on a plane to see her. She got to get on a plane to see you. So the way I would have played it is I would have played it straight professional until the work was done. I would have coordinated everything. I would have said, "Listen, we'll take care of the flights. Do you have somewhere to stay? You have friends in town, or you need to get a hotel room? We could work all of this out. I'm looking forward to the interview. What are some points that you want to hit? What do you want to talk about?" I would have played everything straight up. Aye, Captain. Right? And then when it was done, that's when I kind of would have said, "Hey, listen, afterwards, I'd like to get a bite to eat with you. I kind of want to go over some things with you." And that's when I would have went into that. I would have went into that mode.
There you go.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
that would have worked probably.
I was gonna ask, Don. I was gonna ask if that scenario hypothetically happened, would you have been open to it?
But here's the thing, though. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I would have totally accepted that invitation and probably gone out to dinner. I'm not saying anything else would have happened because also I very much so read character and I am sensitive to character, integrity, everything. So one dinner conversation with Myron, I would have been like, after that show, I would have been
fuck this shit.
But that's the thing. I'm not talking
about that was the approach.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Myron as in general. I'm just talking about that scenario. Because you want to give yourself an opportunity to show your character, show your professionalism, show that you have some reserve, because women don't want to feel like you like that with every girl and you like that right away. Come on, bro. Because women are impulsive. Women are emotional. So why are you showing the same qualities? Now, that would actually be flattering to a woman to know that, oh, so you felt I was attractive the entire time? Because she probably was already second-guessing herself. Like, this guy hasn't made a pass at me. He hasn't this, or that. But he had a sturdy handshake. He looked me in the eyes. He smelled good. And he was respectful. So what I'm saying is that's not a guarantee that she's going to sleep with you, hook up with you, or anything. But it's a guarantee you would have fucking maintained her respect.
And boom, I was gonna, because you said respectful and you said it again. And that was the key thing, because all of that was just straight disrespect. And listener here had a question about that, about being a gentleman, being taught to be gentleman before being alpha. We kind of went over that, but it kind of goes in hand with what you were talking about. You got to be respectful to women, man. These guys aren't teaching you how to be respectful to women. If you're going to go out there following Myron's game, you're going to be throwing bricks, bro. It's not going to work.
And that's the thing. He throws bricks. And see, the same way that she's contrary to his fucking narrative is the same way he's contrary to his own narrative. According to him, if you're over 6 foot and you make over $100,000 a year, and women are just going to roll into your bed. Really, dude? Because they ain't doing that for you and you 6'2". You make well over $100,000 a year. You well over fucking 6 foot, but girls can't stand you. They can't stand your presence. They don't like your fucking face. You see what I'm saying? And so many women have told me that it's not even that Myron is physically unattractive. So many women have literally said to me, if he didn't say what he said, I would have hooked up with him.
Damn.
They said it to me.
Women.
One chick. There was one chick on the podcast. Came on the podcast. He tried to hit it. She wasn't with it. He was pissed. Right? He was resentful about it. So he told me bring her back on. I'm thinking, for what? She was just on. I could bring on somebody else. He's like, nah, bring her back on. I said, I'll bring her back on when I bring her back on, nigga. There's a rotation. I can bring back on the same girl. You got to give it some time. So I brought her back on. He threw her off in 5 minutes flat.